we're off to a good start. Hello, everyone. So we're on, Joe. Meet Jo Rees. She's a beautiful friend of mine who's on the couch tonight to talk about her health situation. Jo's been on dialysis for nearly 30 years. Mm-hmm. And I guess, well, the way that you have lived in those 30 years, that's about what we're going to talk about tonight. And how did it all happen? From a throat infection, did you say?
So yeah, the strep throat in 1980. So was living with my sister, two young girls, and got a sore throat and never had it looked at. So it was a strep throat, which is treatable, but I left it untreatable, and it was bacterial infection, so it attacked my kidneys and actually wiped them out.
Wow. So then, well, obviously that was a progressive thing that happened, and then you've worked up to, you've got a situation where your kidneys are not working properly.
Yeah.
So then what was the next thing that you did? Did you look at did you get to that stage where they said, well, can you get a donor and let's look at the kidney transplant?
Well, I just want to say one thing first, and that is that this is my journey and my story. And other people that are going on dialysis or are on dialysis have completely different stories. But so this is mine. This is what happened to me. If you might be going on dialysis, it mightn't happen to you. But this is what happens to me. I just wanted to make that clear. Everybody's different, so things happen differently. But if we go back to the sore throat, what happened after that was I was really quite ill. I never sort of got over that, and I constantly had urinary tract infections not long after that. And also got my licence, and then I hurt my thumb one day with the car hitting a gutter, and it hurt my thumb, and had to go to a doctor. And because I was new to the area, I didn't know any doctors, and I was recommended to go to a doctor, and I went, and he said that my blood pressure was high. And he said, I want you to come back tomorrow at the same time. And it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I went back the next day, and he said, one more time, come back tomorrow. And when he came back, the third day, he said it should not still be high after.
That's because your blood pressure is asked you to come back.
Yeah, okay. Because of the blood pressure. And that's a number one sign. And so that's why it's so important to anybody out there that has high blood pressure, because it can be an indication there's something else very, very wrong. And that was the case with me. And then within 2 weeks, I actually was having a biopsy. So it was very good. I had a very good doctor, and that doctor was with me for a very long time. He was on the ball, and that's what you needed.
So you're saying, right, you got high blood pressure, get it checked.
Yeah.
Don't let it go like it's something that you've really got to come down on and do something about.
And no matter what age, I was 27 years old, and I was hot all the time. Mm-hmm. I felt hot, and it is a symptom, headache, hot.
But you were hot when you were 27. She really was hot when she was 27, I got to tell you. Okay, getting back to it. Sorry, I was trying to bring a bit of a giggle in there somewhere.
Yeah, so, and then it was just the journey. I'd just been married, and I had a biopsy a month before my year of my first anniversary. And I was diagnosed with end-stage renal failure, 40% functioning. And you just go on from there. You have education, diet starts straight away. So
you're only like a year into your marriage?
Yeah, a year into my marriage.
Wow. And I know this is probably, this is a personal thing, but, how did your husband deal with that?
Well, what I tried to do, and which was really, really silly, was to protect him a little bit. So I didn't tell him too much.
So you went and did what you had to do, like you'd take off to the doctors, not say that you're going to the doctors, I'm going shopping, see you later, and not tell him where you were going, what was happening. Yeah.
I was trying to protect him. Protect him and my family, because you don't want them to think about it and feel sad about it, So if you don't tell them, you don't involve them. Big mistake, everybody. Big mistake.
So did you have someone that you could talk to, that you other than your doctor?
Probably my sister. I've got very close to my eldest sister, and so I was able to talk to her. And friends, really love good friends I've had, but I just never shared it with my husband.
Wow. And I mean, we've talked about this on other episodes, you know, how important it is to have a great friendship base and, you know, have beautiful people around you that can support you.
So important. And I actually, it brings to mind a comment, and the comment is that I hear is, if you haven't got your health, you haven't got anything. And that is such a lie. So that means because I don't have my health, I've got nothing. I've got everything, because family and friends are everything. That's what you need. And your health, you can't help not being well. So you know the saying, you know, if you haven't got your health, you haven't got anything. It's just not right. It's not right. You've got everything when you've got your family,
and when you've got that friendship base that are supportive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then we're on the journey now. You've been a year into your marriage. You've got your 40% functioning.
I was given 5 years for it to be knocked down. Yeah.
Right. And then what was the next step after that? What happened after that? Excuse me, I'm going to cough. I've had the flu and I've really been trying to, you know, but I've got to have a cough. Sorry. Excuse me. Commercial break. Cough break. Back now. Fine. Sorry.
That's right. Now you're under doctors and, you know, people watching you, like I mentioned before, dietitians, specialists, this one, that one, probing questions, biopsies, and then they stabilise you.
So what sort of time frame are you saying out of your week? You know, like, were you at doctors, say, half the week? You felt like it was half the week you're always at a doctor? Or
you were always doing something, at least once a week, least once a week. And it has not changed in nearly 30 years. I go to a doctor. I went to a doctor last Tuesday, a doctor last Thursday, and that's how it is. It's just all doctors all the time.
Well, I guess you'd get to make friends with the receptionist.
Oh, yeah, yes. I was talking about that today, actually. You get the cup of coffee if you want it. You get high, you know, you get the cheaper rate.
Yeah, and you can use their toilet.
Yeah, you wouldn't. No, I didn't.
Oops.
Because I know. Because one of the things with having renal failure is you don't go to the toilet. You don't wee. So you don't
how long has it been since you've weed in a toilet?
About 29 years.
Wow. I mean, a lot of us girls would love that for the fact that when we go to concerts and stuff like that, we don't have to worry about that. But what you have to do is you have to look at your fluid intake.
Yes, yes.
So how many mils or...
500 mils a day.
Which is about
2 cups of tea.
2 cups of tea your intake is?
The whole day. And that's excluding... fruit, there's fluid in fruit, there's fluid in ice cream, there's fluid in custard, fluid in yogurt. So you have to kind of mentally... That was probably one of the hardest things that I had to cope with, was the amount of fluid. Because it's like going on a diet. You know when you say, I'm going to start a diet on Monday, and at 10 o'clock you're putting for the biscuits?
Well, I started a diet and like 30 seconds after I want the biscuits.
Yes, well that's like it is. Because it's a mental thing. And so...
yeah, because you're denying yourself of something that you've been used to doing each and every day of your life, and then suddenly, no matter what. But to you, that's like life or death situation.
That's right. It took 15 years for me to stop thinking about it.
Wow.
I stopped drinking. You've got to, because it will kill you. But it took me 15 years to stop thinking about it. I stopped it physically, but mentally I thought about it. And then one day I just woke up and I thought, I haven't thought about drinking today. But occasionally it comes back with a vengeance, sort of, and you struggle with it again.
Well, you'd have a lot of anxiety and depression over this, wouldn't you?
Yes.
It has to affect you some way.
It does. It has, and consequently you have to have some medication. Because it took a long time for me to, I think it was only a couple of years ago I started on an antidepressant, because I was just thinking very differently to how I used to think. I'm very positive and very proactive, but then all of a sudden I'd be, instead of thinking, like when you start on dialysis, no one ever says this is forever and ever and ever. They just talk about you starting on dialysis, and I must say that dialysis is actually the treatment for chronic end-stage renal failure. The treatment is dialysis, so it isn't the disease. It's the
for those, for the viewers out there in my Facebook family and my YouTube family now tonight. Great to tell everyone. So when you say you're on dialysis, now we did a little film clip the other night. It's a machine that you have to hook up to, and you sit on that for how many hours? 6 hours?
Up to 6. 6 is the maximum. Usually about 5.5, but 6 sometimes if your arm doesn't stop bleeding, because you've got to hold your arm and clot it off because those needles have been in there, so you don't bleed to death. And so you've got to wait. Sometimes it's out of sorts, and it doesn't.
So what does it do? It pumps the blood through the machine?
Well, you have an arterial needle and a venous needle. And the arterial needle goes in the bottom and the venous needle goes in the top. It's called a venous return. So the blood comes through the arterial needle, goes through the machine, goes through a kidney, an artificial kidney, on the side of the machine, and then is put back through the arterial. So it's clean then.
Wow, so this, in fact, I'm a visual person, so I'm seeing this machine as being your kidney, basically. Yeah. It's going through and working as a kidney for you, for your body.
Yeah, well, there's actually a kidney on the side. It's called a kidney, kidney, which is a tube, a long tube, and it's got fibres and fibres in it, which cleans the molecules, cleans the blood as it goes through.
And it goes into your arm, and you were showing me earlier.
Yeah.
Now you've got...
Well, I've had treatment today, so I've got actual stickers, covers on.
I think they make them a pretty colour or something.
Yeah. This is actually a piece of, it's called a graft, and it's like a piece of pipe, this bit here.
So they put the pipe in...
They join it there, and they put it just under the top of the skin, and then it joins to my vessel, which is here. And, so you use that, because I've had 26 fistulas on this arm, and so that's all used up.
Wow.
So then they've had to go into this arm. So,
Wow.
Yeah, so that's how it works. But
how can you just keep such a bright and beautiful attitude?
You just wear long sleeves.
Oh, God, let's show.
You just wear,
well, you're right. You're right.
You just, you're given things in life, and sometimes you don't agree with them and what happens to you, but the thing is that you just got to push through it. My little boy was 2 years old when I started on dialysis, so if what I was to give up, he's 32, and my daughter was 12, and, she's 42, so, you wouldn't have never seen that if you didn't, push through.
And you actually had a baby when you were having...
When I had renal failure. Yeah, my son, my 32-year-old.
The miracle baby.
The miracle baby, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Has that happened before?
Well, back then, I had made medical history, but now it's probably changed, because things have changed very much, because it was the amount of functioning that I had, because people actually have had babies on dialysis now, but back then it was the low functioning, like I had about 20% functioning, and there, when I fell pregnant, they asked, the doctors wanted me to terminate, and I said I wouldn't terminate, because God's given me this baby, and I'm just gonna, and they told me that it would die, and I didn't believe that. I said no, so I had to go through the pregnancy for with just an open mind, but I was told one day it was dead, and then it did a little flip-flop across the scanning screen, because my bloods were too good, so it was...
So how did that work? Was it the baby actually made things work a little bit better?
Yes, that's correct. What happened, he was born with a high creatinine clearance, because I was scanned every week for 34 weeks, because he was born at 34-week gestation. And
so he went through to 34 weeks.
yeah, there was lots of hiccups along
Yes.
the way. It wasn't as wish it was easy. I was in hospital for 17 weeks and things like that. But what happened was when he was born and they took him to neonatal, he was sucking on the side of the head box. And so then they thought, well, this child wants to eat. So then they took him into special care and they do bloods and everything. And they said that he was born with a high creatinine clearance. And that meant, well, creatinine is what your kidney excretes.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's how I see it. And because your kidneys don't work, that gets in your system. And it's a byproduct, I think. And it gets in your system and that's why you get sick. So you have dialysis and it takes that off. Well, he was born with a high creatinine clearance. That meant that his little kidneys were helping my blood.
Oh.
I know, it's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah,
and I said to him about it. I only found out a few months ago, and he said, "That's all right, Mum." It was just gorgeous.
It's going to make me cry.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
I'm really emotional.
It's
Deep breath, eh?
yeah.
So we were talking before about, like, how many operations have you had?
I've actually got to go see a doctor at the end of the month, and if he goes ahead with it, it'll be number 60.
60
60.
operations. And look at you, just so positive.
Yeah. Well, can't change it.
Oh, look, I'm just so emotional. I'm sorry, everyone, but... No, I'm not sorry, because this is what it's all about. It's, you really... Like, I do have a heart, you know?
Mm.
And Tiana's over there on the other side of the camera, and she's doing the same, and I just think you're an absolutely amazing woman.
No, thank you.
For just having the attitude that you've got, and, you know, coming here tonight and wanting to share in the hope that someone is out there. Maybe they're sitting on their dialysis machine with their computer right now and watching Facebook and saying, and seeing you and your story and saying, you know what, I am not going to give up. You know, what's the actual, like, I know this probably is a terrible question really, but what's the actual longest that someone's been on dialysis?
Well, that's a good question actually. I was given 6 to 10 years.
And what, you nearly 30?
Nearly 30, and it's because of who I am and because we, like I said before, we're all different, but my doctor said to me, your blood pressure will come down if you go and stand on the corner in the rain for 3 days. I would do that because that's what he said. And the nurses have said to me, you don't drink and you don't eat because our diet is low phosphate, low sodium, low calcium, low protein diet. So what do you eat?
What do you eat? Okay, well, tell me what you have. You get up in the morning.
Low potassium. I knew there was 5. Low potassium. Get up in the morning, have special K. And a cup of coffee that big.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Then what do you have?
And then lunch I'll have crackers and cheese.
So how many crackers?
3.
Like
3 crackers.
3 of those?
Yeah.
Like
3
those little...
No, not the little ones. They're about that big. With cheese on them.
So 3 crackers with cheese on?
And a piece of fruit. Apple.
And an apple. Okay, so do you have like afternoon tea or anything? No. So what about dinner?
Dinner, I have whatever I cook for my husband, but I have that much and he has that much.
Wow.
So, well, it just works and my bloods are good. And actually I was at my doctor, like I said the other day, and he just said, Jo, you're perfect. You're perfect. And
you are perfect.
My bloods are perfect. So, you know, when you get that sort of encouragement, like the thing is, you do as you're told, don't drink and eat properly, and also nutrition, and do what they tell you to do because they're right. The nurses are right. They want you to be well. So if you do what they ask of you, you will be well. Because when you drink, like I could drink 7 litres of fluid, you wouldn't know. Nobody would know. I would know.
You're fooling yourself though, aren't you?
Yes, really? Yes. And what happens with fluid over a long period of time, because you don't wee, so you don't wee it out, the heart enlarges. And and then it goes down when you have dialysis, and then it goes back up, and then it comes down. Then one day the heart goes, oh, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm staying up. And I've seen women, that have died because they couldn't get tubes down their throats because their heart has pushed their esophagus over to the other side of their chest. But
because they've cheated basically and just...
Well, they haven't cheated themselves.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Cheated themselves, and I thought, well, I'm not going to do that, and I've been on 30 years soon, and my heart specialist said to me, a normal heart is a 30 or something, and mine's 32, so I'm just a tiny little bit over the normal heart. But I did have a heart attack too. I had a clot of blood that went into my heart in 2004, which had damaged the heart. So, so that's put it behind. But that's absolutely amazing for somebody that's been on that long. But you only achieve those sort of things if you do the right thing. They don't just come naturally. And if I can encourage anybody for that, is just listen to the nurses. They know what they're doing. Listen to your doctor, listen to your nurse, and you'll have a really good life. I've got a really good life. I thank God for my life. Every night I say, thank you, Lord, for my life. And some people look at my life and think, oh no, but it's a good life, and you get dealt things. It's not always what you hoped it would be, but I've got the best husband in the world that is always there, and I've got really beautiful children and grandchildren, and so it's a good life.
It's good to have that attitude. That's what gets you through the day, is it not?
Yes.
Is to have that attitude.
Yeah.
Because, very easily, I know myself, having faced something in my life, that I could very easily just curl up in a ball one day on the lounge and go, you know what, I've had enough. Has that happened to you?
Yeah, and that was only last year. So I've gone 28 years, or 29 years of bouncing back myself. But you get to a point where you can't do it by yourself. And like I said before, the thinking changes, and that's very dangerous when you start thinking differently. And then the nurses, because they know you so well, they go, oh, there's something wrong there. And they, bring in the gang, the caseworker or whatever, and then they talk to you.
So is it like, knowing that the medical field are sort of coming up with new things each and every second of the day. So they say, was it the 35 years that someone's been on dialysis?
Yeah, I think 39's the longest in the world, 39. See, the thing is that I've sat in a chair 3 times a week for 30 years. See, some people start dialysis when they're young, when they're 18 or something. Then they have a transplant. So they have a transplant for 20 years, and then they go back on dialysis. So I've heard them say, oh, well, I've been on dialysis since I was 16. I think, well, you've had a transplant. I had a transplant from my sister the same year I started on dialysis. I started May 88, and in August 88, my sister gave me a kidney. Well, it lasted 5 days.
Oh, really?
5 days. So transplant for me is out because I have an acquired blood disorder, and so it's not the answer.
It's not the answer for you.
No, I can't, have it. So I just, accepted that a long time ago.
So you on medications as well as the machine?
Well, yeah, surprisingly not a lot. Some beta blocker to slow the heart down, a blood pressure tablet, but just a half, like we talked about, an antidepressant, a half of antidepressant, multivitamins and injections, because I have one injection a week for called neorecormin, which is because your kidneys don't work, you don't make red blood cells, so you have really low hemoglobin. So the injection I have every week is for that. Then I have an injection every day to thin my blood. So I have that. So, and multivitamins and so, but that's minimal. That's what some people are on.
I know.
Yeah.
So you're lucky, you're saying?
Mm.
Bless you. God, I love you. So, I know we're coming to the end of the show. I'm very, very emotional right now. I'm really trying to hold it all together. If you had to give a message to someone, all right, there's someone out there now, look into that camera.
Yeah.
There's someone out there right now who's sitting at home, who's going through the same thing that you're going through. What is the message that you would give them to give them hope? What would be something that you could say
I think
to them?
you've got to believe in yourself. I think you've got to like yourself and want this for yourself, because it's sort of like spreads then, doesn't it? You know, because then your family, you're doing it for your family too, but mainly for you. For you.
I think that's a really important message, because then if you're okay with you, you can conquer anything.
That's right.
You know, that gives you the strength to get through any amount of adversity in your life.
That's right.
So there you go, guys. That's a really good message. Oh, dear me, I think I'm really lost for words right now. Is that possible? I love you, and I'm so glad you've come on tonight, and
Thank you.
shared your story, and, just such a beautiful woman. I just want to say to everyone, the thread has been out there that should you not contact me and let me know of someone that wants to tell their story out there to help someone, just one person it would help. How good would that be? But, the thread is, if you don't, it's going to be me on the couch telling you about my story. So we don't want that. We want to be able to share all this wonderful life that everyone has out there, that, they all get through it somehow. And you know what? You can too. So don't give up, no matter what it is. Just don't give up. And I think the most important message that I've got tonight too is, go to your family and go to your friends and tell them everything that you need to tell them. Someone needs to know. You don't need to go through what you're going through on your own. Share it with someone. Find that someone, that supportive person that that could take it all on. And even if you just tell someone, ring Lifeline, call someone, tell them something, don't keep it all to yourself. And you can do it, from me. And, I've got quite a few little stories that blow your mind too, but hopefully I won't have to tell them. Hopefully there'll be others that'll tell their story. So just that little message to you tonight. And the other thing is that we've gone on YouTube. Yay! So look for us on the Couch with Kelly, and we have our own Facebook page now, On the Couch with Kelly. So give us time to get all the content on it and get it all up and running and be a part of our world and help us make a change for someone out there. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye for now. See you on the couch next week, 7:30 on Wednesday nights.
Bye.
Bye.